All right, so let me share my screen with you. If I can, there we go. So like I mentioned earlier, this webinar is piggybacking off of Dr. Bagwell's workshop that he taught last week in the clinic. And so I am going to refresh slightly. I did steal some of his slides so I can share those with you. So there will be a slight review, but I also wanted to make sure that I make this as simple as possible and as practical as possible. So I'm going to go a little bit more into some lifestyle solutions with you tonight. But, you know, the question is, are toxins making you sick and fat? And why is that question important? Because just like we teach all the time at True Health Center, with our principled and holistic perspective, we want to address the root cause of the problem. We don't want to manage symptoms, because if we can truly address the cause, if we can remove the interference, then we can live a vitalistic life without medications and disease. It's really sad, though, our new normal is that of disease and symptoms and pain and headaches and sickness and anxiety and depression. And honestly, like, I just typed out my next slide is super simple, and I almost get tears in my eyes just looking at it, because as I talk to patients, and just like the stat says here, 75% of American adults over 40 have been diagnosed with at least one chronic disease. That is not normal, and it's not okay. And I find that it's even normal, even for our teenagers and our kids, you know, to be on a medication. I had a day of phone calls, some consults with patients today, with new patients. And I'm just thinking of just like 2 off the bat had 8 or more medications. And it's not unusual when I'm working with a new patient. And of course, by the way, my name is Bridget Spurgeon. If we have not yet met, I'm a nutritionist. I practice holistically. I'm also a weight loss and metabolism expert. So what I do on a daily basis is I help patients lose weight naturally. So when my patients are coming in, it is just absolutely normal, not in my opinion, normal, that someone's on 5 medications. And I hear statements like, no, I'm completely healthy. I'm just 80 pounds overweight, and I'm just on blood pressure and cholesterol medications. And, like that grieves my spirit, knowing that we've just been conditioned to disease and obesity. But I will let you know, it's not okay. And it's not the best that God has for us. It's not our best life. And so I know that those of you that are on this webinar and are listening to this, that you're seeking the best version of you, the healthiest version of you, your best life, because you want to make optimal contribution to the world. You want to live an amazing life because you know that you deserve that. So we're going to get to the bottom of that today. I just wrote down like the top 4 diseases that came to mind as I thought about toxicity being one of the root causes. And as I was typing these out, I told you I got a little bit emotional, because last year my mom died of cancer. And I think, and I'm sure that many of us listening to this, someone that has died of cancer or someone who is battling cancer. I know children that have died of cancer and have had to go through chemotherapy, and it's just not okay. Obviously, I'm in the obesity field, and so I work with the struggle of obesity and the side effects of obesity every day. And I really wanted to make sure that I included Alzheimer's on here. We think about neurotoxicity, but I almost feel like there's not enough awareness of this awful, awful disease. I've had a couple of grandparents who have passed with Alzheimer's, and just to see how it affects a family, the caregivers. And it's one of those things I feel like we all fear, right? It's like we never want to be in that position. So we really need to do everything we can to make sure that that doesn't happen to us and our loved ones. And then hormone disruption. And I'm actually, that's part of my testimony and part of my healing story is healing hormone disruption. But I was really impacted last year when I was in Ghana, and I just like donated some of my time working with some of the locals there. And I ended up seeing a lot of young, like 20, 25-year-old women who were battling infertility and menstrual issues, menstrual pain, anemia, things like that. And it's just so sad that all over the world we're just seeing the effects of these diseases. And all these diseases, what they have in common is one of the root cause factors is toxicity. And maybe you're listening, you're like, well, I don't have any of those diseases, so I'm okay. And I'll, I heard Dr. Bagwell say this in his workshop. It's not, am I toxic? It's how toxic am I? And I want you to think about this bucket principle, this bucket effect. So I certainly, and I could probably even say I'm in a phase, but I go through like these seasons where I'm just like, feel amazing. I'm healthy. I'm very blessed. I don't take medications. I work really hard at my health, and we're like, oh, I feel good. And so we don't feel like there's any reason for concern. Here's the thing with toxins. We live in a toxic world, and those toxins, it's not like the toxin immediately has a side effects and we live with those side effects. It's a bucket effect. And so you just think about, as toxins come in through polluted air, or through our food, or through our skincare, or through a vaccination, or through a medication, and it just builds in the bucket. So you might feel fine, and then when that bucket gets full, when it starts to spill over, the spillover is the symptom. So I want you to remember that. It just means that you've been dealing with something growing. It's like, we say, it's like you're fine until you're not. Someone who's diagnosed with cancer or has a heart attack, they literally could feel just fine the day before. And so what we have to do is, as we're aware of the bucket, we never want it to overflow. We want to make sure that we're doing things that it doesn't fill up, or that we can lower that bucket. We want that bucket as close to empty as possible. So here, even just looking at some of these symptoms, blood pressure issues, digestive issues, weight loss resistance, metabolic issues, dizziness, inability to handle stress, fatigue, headaches, hormone disruption, sleep disruption, depression, anxiety, muscle joint pain. And, I spoke about Alzheimer's earlier, and I kept this slide in here of Dr. Bagwell's because I just think that this awareness is so important. But I see just one thing I see is people drinking like diet sodas, and those artificial sweeteners in there are they're literally neurotoxic. They store in your fat and in your brain. So remember that. I'll talk about this in a little bit, but toxins, they come into your body and they wreak havoc. They're very dangerous. They're just like things go crazy. So what your body does is it finds a way to protect itself. And the way that it protects itself is it stores those toxins in your fat cells. And so we have fat, that we have a subcutaneous fat that we can tell on our body. We have visceral fat, but also our brain and our spinal cord's made out of fat. So what happens is and especially things like heavy metals, and they cross the blood-brain barrier and they get in and they store in the brain. And I just think some of these stats on here are very sobering. Alzheimer's is the 6th leading cause of death in the United States at this point. Listen to the stat on the bottom here. Since the year 2000, deaths from heart disease have decreased by 14%. That's amazing. Wow, well done. While deaths of Alzheimer's disease have increased by 89%. 1 in 3 seniors dies with Alzheimer's. or a type of dementia. And listen to this, it kills more than breast cancer and prostate cancer combined. And so the only thing we can do for this is prevent it. The cause is the cure. So we have to dissect and look, say what's causative here, and address that while we're young, so that our families don't have to deal with this in the future. So here's the thing with toxicity. Unfortunately, we don't start off life with a clean slate when it comes to toxins. So they did this study. Gosh, this was quite a while ago. But the Environmental Working Group, they examined the cord blood, so fetal cord blood, so of newborn babies, and they found an average of 200 toxins in a newborn baby. They had not been exposed to the world yet. They had not eaten anything yet. They had not taken a medication or a shot yet. They had not been breathing in pollution or jet fuel, like they are brand new. So it shows the power that what happens is our toxins, they store in our body and then they pass along generation to generation. And so it just reminds us that we have to be proactive in detoxing our body. There are toxins. Part of the study, there's a news article of or a news show where the lady that participated, so she's an adult, but they found toxins in her body that had been banned for over 30 years. And so it just shows us that they store in our body. They like to store like in our organs and in our fat cells. We'll talk a little bit about that in a second. A lot of times I know in American culture, like we're indoor culture because we have our air conditioning and we have our heat, and so different here in like Mexico or South Africa, like we keep our doors open so that the air is flowing through. But the environments in our homes are 2 to 5, and I would probably argue even more, I'd argue closer to 10 times more toxic than our outdoor environment. Why? Because the things from our furniture and our floors and our mattresses and our cleaning products and our perfumes and then you have mycotoxins, molds, things like that are just circulating in the air. Dust mites, they're circulating in the air, and so we just end up living. And think about our work environments. We're indoors. We're just living in these toxic environments. Indoor air measurements have been found to be 100 times more polluted than outdoor. And then the water that we drink. So here are 3 major problems with water. So this was especially if you're in the Charlotte area. I actually even noticed this when I came to Charlotte. The chlorine toxicity seemed to be even more because I started getting these little rashes. And the chlorine in the water, and some of the derivatives that are produced are known to cause cancer, and they also oxidize cholesterol, which we don't want that. And then fluoride. So fluoride literally is like put into our water supply in a lot of countries. It is in a lot of Western countries, and this just drives me nuts. It's like they say it's to prevent tooth decay, but the World Health Organization has disproved this, and fluoride literally is banned in, how many do we have here? Like 8, 9 other countries. So what's interesting, what I found in Mexico, with just on the topic of fluoride, so here they don't put it in the water, they put it in the salt supply. So all the salt here is fluoridated, and I don't know, that just makes me a little bit skeptical that there are countries in the world where they're trying to get fluoride, well, I don't think Mexico's maybe considered second world, but trying to get fluoride into the population. So heavy metal toxicity and lead toxicity. So I know definitely this is true. So I'm in my 40s. So when I was younger, it was like the thing with the lead in the paint, right? So we grew up with that lead exposure. Also, maybe I know like my mother was in the asbestos But they've found that it affects 4 generations. And this is how the lead toxicity affects us. And I wanted to include this because I am talking about the metabolic effects of toxicity and how it affects our fat. The lead is inherited in utero from mom to baby, which does attribute to bone loss during pregnancy. But listen to this, it turns on the genes associated with diseases, which includes obesity for 4 generations. That's pretty scary. And I've even had this conversation with some of my patients and who have endured childhood obesity. And it's unfortunate that sometimes it's the epigenetics have just been passed down, that we are, you just start your life behind the 8 ball, so to speak. And this is why, it's because these toxins are passed generation to generation. And then we look at our food supply. So we're not winning here because it's really hard. Like, it's hard, we have to drink water, we have to breathe the air, and we have to eat. And then we look at our food supply. The FDA has approved 3,000 artificial food additives. It just blows my mind. Preservatives and colorings. The average person ingests 140 to 150 pounds of additives every year. Then, I just think of the artificial sweeteners here, and this is everywhere in the world, but the vegetable oils in Mexico, it's just like everything is vegetable oil. Then obviously you have the pesticides and herbicides and the artificial colorings and the preservatives. Like, it's just crazy. And it's almost like we feel like we can't get away from it. I'll share a little story. So I'm in Mexico and we went hiking over the weekend, and I just started seeing these dead fish everywhere. I was on this one beach and I saw a couple of dead fish, and then went to another beach and I saw them in the water. And then we went on the boat and there were just like all these dead fish. I was like, oh my word, I've never experienced this. What is going on? And when I got back, I did some research. Well, there's been red tide over here. And so the reason why the fish are dead is because the red tide, so it's like all this algae, and it is, it's like, I don't know, 100,000 times the concentration that it's meant to be. And so it produces these toxins, and they're neurotoxins, these diatoms. And so they're literally like, they're killing the fish's brains. And I've been swimming in the water and I've been eating the fish. And I was just like, oh my word, I can't get away from it. I'm trying to eat well. I'm trying to like eating fish and salads and seafood. And now probably the fish was caught out beyond the red tide and it's probably fine. But it just reminded me, like, oh, we can try and be healthy, and we can try and eat apples and vegetables and our proteins and everything. But our food supply has become so toxic. It's hard to get away from it. It's really hard to live in a bubble. And we do the best that we can. But once again, it just means that we have to be intentional about living a detox life, intentional about detoxing. Unfortunately, we can't just rely. Our body is designed to detox naturally. The glutathione, our liver, like all of our process, our sweating, just the way that we eliminate food, and we're designed for natural detoxing, but our bodies cannot keep up with the load. We were not designed to eat frankenfood and drink the water that has toxins and chemicals in it and breathe this polluted air. And another one worth mentioning is glyphosate. So glyphosate is found in Roundup, and it just gets in everything. I mean, even they've found it in organic foods. They found it present even in countries, because it's banned in several countries. And because when they're spraying crops, one field, it gets over to the other field, or the birds will take it and so forth. So it's like that our whole planet is just populated with this glyphosate, and it's in our food. So this is the reason to eat as little processed food as possible, even when you're eating organic products. And I just look at this. By the way, it is proven through $1 billion court case that this glyphosate found in the Roundup causes cancer. So that happened a few years ago. But you just look in just eating what you think is maybe normal food. I don't consider this normal food, but you look at a hamburger, there's, GMO corn and soy fed cows, there are fillers, there's the Roundup in the wheat, high fructose corn syrup, canola oil, herbicides. It's just in everything. So we have to be intentional on living a detox life, and that's what I want to empower. I want to inspire and equip you with that tonight. And so how do we do this? And this, just like I've gone over, like this applies to everyone. This applies to me. Like I literally traveled to Mexico with detox supplements. I prioritized those actually over other supplements because I knew it was important to be doing this, especially as I'm moving country to country. And so I'm going to break this down into 4 things. So number 1 is mindset. Number 2, we have to protect our environments. Number 3, can incorporate fasting practices, or if you need to lose weight, I recommend natural weight loss strategies. And 4, we have to do something to detox at a cellular level. This is not just like doing a juice cleanse or doing, I spoke to someone today, they're doing detox teas. It doesn't work like that. Like there are very specific phases of detoxification, and you have to and you have to get the cells to upregulate detoxification. It's not just about getting things moving through your GI. And but then we have to have something that binds the toxins to actually get them out of your body. Otherwise, they just circulate and just redeposit somewhere else. So let's go through. So the first one we're going to talk about is mindset. And I thought I would actually share, it got me thinking about like, why is detoxing so important to me? Why do I live a detox lifestyle? And this is pretty crazy, but I brought up that as a picture of me in college. And so I want to share a couple of experiences with you. So when I was in college, when I was 20 years old, I was living the opposite of it. I was living a very toxic lifestyle. I was drinking alcohol. I was smoking cigarettes. I was eating fast food. I wasn't sleeping well. I wasn't putting nutrients into my body. As you can tell, I was overweight. And if you just even look, and once again, I was only 20 years old, but you can just look at my face and I look inflamed, don't I? And I didn't even give you a bad picture. I gave you a picture. There was a sorority picture where supposedly I'm posing or something there. And so, but I would consider that probably close to the most toxic time in my life. This is the sickest I've been in my life. And I had a moment, and some of you have heard me share the story, where I was sitting on the stairs of the biochem department and I was smoking a cigarette, drinking a Diet Coke, and I was praying, something I did often. And the Holy Spirit, in a moment, revealed to me that my body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, and that what I put in my temple affected my body and affected the Holy Spirit. And I just had this picture of the Holy Spirit like in my body coughing because of the cigarette smoke I was putting in. At that time, I didn't know that Diet Coke was toxic. I had no clue, but certainly anyone knows that smoking cigarettes is toxic, and certainly that eating like McDonald's or Burger King or something is toxic, right? And I was eating food in the cafeteria. And it just hit me. And honestly, like in an instant, I had the information and I was like, I'm done. I stopped eating. I actually lost weight after that. I cleaned up my diet the best that I knew how. I stopped drinking, stopped smoking. And that started a journey for me. It was a switch in my mindset that started it, because I got it. It wasn't like I was trying to have willpower to, how many people like try to stop smoking or stop drinking and they can't do it. Like it was something changed in my brain. I was like, I'm done. This has affected me the rest of my life. And I'm 44 years old now. And I still live in that truth that my body is a temple. What I put in it either destroys the temple or heals the temper. I want you to remember that. What you put in your body either destroys, either creates disease in your body, or it heals your body. And I choose healing every single day. I don't want to put something that is going to make me wrinkly and sick and tired and disease. I don't want to put that in my body. So I choose healing every single time. Then move on to, I was in my early 30s and I was battling major hormone imbalance. I was diagnosed with PCOS, was trying to get pregnant, couldn't get pregnant. That's when I was diagnosed with polycystic ovarian syndrome. And I had choices, and I actually did. I opted to take some fertility medications to help out a little bit. But then I just realized and decided that I needed to heal my body. And I actually wanted my body to be healthy more than I wanted to have a baby. And I went that direction. And so that's actually when my detoxing journey truly started, because I went and did with a physician, with a holistic physician, did intentional detoxing. And that journey is what led me to reverse PCOS and really live in what we call in our clinic true health freedom. And so this is the picture. I hate that the lighting's not good on this picture, but this represents my true health freedom that I can enjoy. I can just smile. Can you tell the joy on my face, and that I'm healthy, and I'm very proud that I can be in my 40s and wearing a bikini on the beach, and that I can look in the mirror and feel happy with myself, but more importantly know that I am energized and healthy from the inside out. That I never imagined that I would be in my 40s and do things like Ironman and climb Kilimanjaro and travel around the world and just live a life of passion and purpose. So the next part of mindset, so that's the first part, is really just making that decision, is the realization, making that decision, but attaching to your why. So for me, my why, why I started detoxing and why I keep to it, was because of my hormone imbalance. And that was important for me to reverse it. So what is that for you? Maybe you have battled cancer and you don't want to have cancer again, or maybe you've had a parent that's died of cancer or diabetes or Alzheimer's and you don't want to get that. Maybe it's because you want to stay around for your children. What is your why? Why is it important for you to be the healthiest version of you? What is the thing that gets you emotional thinking about it? Maybe it is something to do with depression or anxiety. Maybe it's getting off of medications, but cling to that why and then start that journey. But the next part of it is we have to understand our physiology. If we don't understand our physiology, we don't know what to do. We don't know what to address. But here's the thing, I can't teach you about toxicity and physiology all in one webinar. This is a journey. Many of you on this webinar, in fact, you listen to these webinars and you come to workshops at the clinic and you go through programs and detoxes and work on your nutrition. It is a journey. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen in a 30 or 90-day program. It doesn't happen in a webinar, but you're on that journey. And I'm still, once again, I've been on this for years, but I am always I'm still detoxing. Even today, I'm doing things today to detox my body. And so I thought that this actually, it's funny because I was looking at this graphic that I was going to use, and then literally Dr. Bagwell had it on his PowerPoint, so it's perfect. But I think this is a great graphic for you to understand the process of how toxins come into your body and how they leave your body. So they enter through your lungs, your skin, and your GI. So another way to look at that, so through your mouth, because that's your GI, so what you eat, skin, what you put on your skin, transdermal, things absorb into, when you put sunscreen with all toxins in it, it absorbs into your skin. shampoo, like I almost had to stop washing my hair because I almost couldn't find good shampoo in Mexico. Unfortunately, I found some, but I was literally like, oh my word, I'm going to have to like not wash my hair for 3 months, because everything had sodium lauryl sulfate in it. And I won't put that on my body because that is one of those ones that stores in your liver and for some reason I think your ovaries. And that's just, I mean, I don't want to have risk of ovarian cancer. Ovarian cancer is awful. And so I would rather not wash my hair. And may seem a bit extreme, but that's because I understand how these things work in your body. So and then lungs. So what we breathe in, that goes into lungs. So that's how it enters into, and then it's processed through the liver. Our liver is the guy, it does so much in our body, but it's responsible for metabolizing and processing and eliminating. But what happens is those excess, the liver can only handle so much. So then the excess, they have to get stored. So you're going to have your fat soluble toxins and your water soluble. So either it's going to get stored, if they're water soluble, they're going to go to like your joints and your blood, your tissues, your muscle, or if they're fat soluble, they're going to go to your fat cells, your bone marrow, and your central nervous system, like I spoke about earlier. Okay, so then they get stored there, and they can just hang out there for years and years and years. And then if you're doing something to detox, how does it exit? And it's got to go. It will come through your skin. So I've had times where I've detoxed. In fact, just when I got to Mexico, I got like a rash on my legs. I've done hormone detoxes before where I've got a rash on my abdomen. I also have, oh no, well, this hasn't been in, but I've had patients who have detox candida and they get thrush or like a rash under their arms or their groin. So that's it coming out of the skin. The next place it goes through your kidneys, your colon, and then also we eliminate through our lungs as well. And the fun fact, being the weight loss expert, I will let you know that when you metabolize fat and it breaks down, the major way, the part that that fat gets out of your body is not through urine or through bowel. It's actually through breathing out through the carbon dioxide. So there's your fun fact for the night about fat metabolism. So hopefully that graphic makes sense. I do want to explain this to you. So toxins getting stored in the fat. This is how this pertains. If you have weight to lose, or if you've lost weight. So this concept, I'm very aware of, like I've been actually, this literal graphic I've used for years and years and years, educating on this. But when someone just diets and loses weight, they don't detox. So especially when it's just like calorie restriction, or portion control. If it's something like Weight Watchers, where you're still putting toxins in, you're not doing anything to stop your toxic load, lower your toxic load, or get toxins out. What happens is the toxins don't get out of your body. So look at this picture here, that the top left. See, look at the obese person, and then they lose weight. What happened? The same toxins, the same amount of toxins are still in their body, but now it's just more concentrated. But guess what? Because your body has to store them, so now your body will literally put that fat back on your body so that it can protect itself. So that's where rebound weight gain happens. If you don't do something to detox those toxins while you're losing weight, you can get that rebound. It'll happen actually very quickly. In fact, I spoke to 2 people today. They both had COVID and they both lost weight during COVID, and afterwards they gained more weight back. It's because they didn't lose it in a healthy way, and so they didn't get rid of those toxins. So they have the rebound. The way that I help my patients lose weight is I incorporate like principles where they do intermittent fasting, so they give their body a break from toxins coming in, but we also remove toxin sources. So like what you put on your skin, the toxins in your food. So we eliminate, so now it gives your body a break and it can start to gentle, and our patients will notice gentle detoxing while they're losing weight. So now we don't get the rebound. And so that is a really important phenomenon when it comes to weight loss, but just also understanding that toxins store in your fat. So then your fat has purpose. And when you're very toxic, it can become hard to lose the weight because the body just wants to hold on to it. So you can literally do a detox and the weight comes off just because as the toxins are coming out, now the body's like, oh, okay, I can release that fat. So here's an interesting thing to understand about the fat. So I've mentioned this earlier. We have subcutaneous fat. That is the fat on the outside. Once again, it's fat we can pinch, or if you can pinch it on your stomach, it's above the muscle layer, under the skin layer. That's subcutaneous fat. And we will store toxins there. But also, this visceral fat, the red part, that's the fat that accumulates around your organs. That's the protective fat that your body will actually literally like accumulate fat. So subcutaneous fat, we just have the same amount of fat cells and those fat cells just expand and contract. Our visceral fat, we literally will accumulate it when we're toxic or when we're acidic. We'll accumulate it. And then when we detox and lose weight, like in a proper healthy way, your body will release it, will get it out. So that's when you understand that and just understanding. So in our clinic, we actually track visceral fat. So we know that you're losing that, because that visceral fat is very dangerous, puts you at higher risk for cancer, heart disease, fatty liver disease, and so forth. Okay, so the second part is, so we spoke about mindset and then understanding your physiology. The second part is protecting your environment. We can't live in a bubble, but we can do our very best. So when you think about protecting your environment, I'm just going to simplify it and give you 3 things to work on. We think about how toxins come in. So they come in through our mouth. So therefore, we have to protect our food, our water, and our teeth, even, because like amalgams in your teeth, and when we have root canals and stuff, those toxins come into our body. So we have to protect our mouth and what goes in. So your food, you want to choose organic food, organic meats. We don't want to eat processed foods, but we don't want to eat foods with damaged oils or food colorings, or I'm trying to think of like some ingredients in foods that are like absolute no-nos for me. I mean, honestly, just anything that's not whole food. So you want to have the highest percentage whole food diet as possible. Let's call that 95%. Okay. And then when you have that processed food, just like check every ingredient. And I mean, I had to learn ingredients in Spanish here in Mexico really quickly, because I just don't want to put anything toxic in my body. Then you want to think about what's going into your nose. So that's the air in your home. So you want to think about your cleaners, because you breathe in those fumes. You want, like, I clean with essential oils, for example, like essential oils, vinegar, like very natural, even laundry products. We'll use like lemon oil. And so you just want to go like 7th generation is an example of a brand, but you just want to use more of the brands that you're going to get from like a Whole Foods, or you want to make your own products. But even things like pollution, smoke, fragrance is a big one. Colognes and perfumes are highly toxic. And so, if you're someone that wears cologne or perfume in the day, like you're literally just walking in an air of toxins all day long. And the fortunate thing about that is it's also then toxic to the people around you, just like secondhand smoke is. And then chemicals, like in a work environment, someone works maybe at the airport, by the airplanes, like outside, like loading luggage or working on the planes, like literally, I mean, we've seen that jet fuel. We had a patient and we did a toxicity panel on her, and jet fuel came up, one of the toxins that in jet fuel. And literally her husband worked at the airport, and I guess it's from like washing his clothes, hugging him, and it was in her system. And then the third thing is your skin. So your cosmetics, your lotion, your shampoo, your makeup, anything you put on your skin, your lipstick. Do you know that, like, what is the number? Like they tested like 33 lipsticks, and over 20 had heavy metals and had lead in them. So like lipsticks, one thing has a lot of lead. Oh, I do have a little bit of lipstick on that. Maybe it's gone now, but I use like crunchy makeup and cosmetics, and I may have a couple of other brands I'll use in there, but crunchy is my go-to when I'm in the US. And so that's protecting your environment. We do the best that we can with that. And then the third thing is to decrease the fat on your body, because that's literally where your toxins accumulate if you have the fat to lose. And so you want to go for natural weight loss options. Shameless plug, that's exactly what I do. We have a program that we run through True Health called OptiBurn. We have some different options there. And so this is a natural way to actually gently detox while you're losing weight, and also to decrease the toxic load. But if you don't have weight to lose, fasting is a really powerful tool, because it gives our body a break and allows our body to, like, gives our liver a break, it gives our digestive system a break, and allows it to focus on some detoxing. So that could be from intermittent fasting. So just like skipping a meal a day is just maybe an easy way to think of that. And or that could be, I'm actually considering doing this. We're moving tomorrow, and I was thinking about doing like 1 day a week where I just drink water, just a water day. And I used to actually do that several years ago. I used to do 1 day a week where I just did some very specific detoxing and didn't eat, just had a fast day. And so so that is a really powerful habit to have. And then you have to detox at a cellular level. Like I said earlier, we have to be very intentional, and we have to address this at a cellular level. Our top supplements that we use in the clinic, like I literally have these on my shelf right now. I'm using them right now, and I use these. I would say probably I average a month on, month off. So probably like let's say 40 to 50% of the year, I am intentionally detoxing. And I've had to do this for travel. I find I need to detox more with travel. Sometimes I notice my hormones can get a little bit out of whack, and then I know I just need to do something for hormone, just to facilitate hormone detox. When my stress or inflammation is up, maybe due to like training, or if I'm in a different environment where I know I haven't been able to control my food, then I do these, and they're very powerful. So let me explain them real quick. So there are two supplements, and some of my patients, sometimes I include I recommend these as part of your protocols. The G Cell is the one you take in the morning, and this one, probably the main thing is upregulates glutathione and helps your cells actually get the toxins out. It facilitates those detoxing pathways so the toxins can get out of the cells. But what happens when the toxins come out, now they're circulating in your system. And this is, by the way, when you start detoxing, you can actually feel bad. Like you can get a headache, or you can literally get sick, or you can get a rash. You can feel depressed. Like there are many symptoms now because the toxins are coming out. So now this is where the bind comes in, is really important, because if the toxins just come out, then they're just going to circulate around the blood or in the lymph system or something, and they're just going to go and redistribute. They're going to just go and sit somewhere else. So now that's like, it just got them out, you feel bad, but then they go and get stored somewhere else. So the binder, when you take this bind at night, and this is activated charcoal and got magnesium in it, which facilitates elimination as well, got some other things. This activated charcoal, it then binds the toxin and then can pull it out through the bowel. So this is really important. This bind, I don't want to go anywhere without it. I'll share a little story with you. This was in end of 2020, True Health team. We took a little trip to the beach. We went, I think we're near Charleston, and we went out on, had a nice, Dr. Bagwell rented like a nice place for us. And so we're all on the beach, and I went out swimming, as I love to do. And I got stung by a jellyfish. It wrapped itself around my arm, and oh my word, did it hurt. I think it was all here. There was this huge sting, and I initially put like some sand on it. That's what someone told me to do. I know everyone says like pee on it. I did not do that. And I got back to the beach house, and it's started to feel better, and then it started getting worse. And I was like, oh no. And it just was swelling up, was all red. And then I noticed I started getting these like a rash on my abdomen, and my stomach, and my whole abdomen just started paining. Like, it was bad pain. I thought I was going to have to go to the emergency room. I had thoughts like, oh my word, is this how I'm going to die? Like, I really thought I was going to die. And once again, I'm there with like Dr. Bagwell. Tina was there, Haley was there, Dr. Bagwell's wife Molly was there. And I think it was Dr. Bagwell. He was like, oh, you're having a histamine response. Take activated charcoal. And Tina carries activated charcoal everywhere with her. And she was like, she grabbed her bottle. I took capsules, and then I got aloe, and I put it all on the sting. And within 5 minutes, I felt better. And I just kept doing that on the rash, and it went away. And so I will say activated charcoal saved my life. I couldn't believe it, but I could have gone to the emergency room. They would have had to give me like corticosteroids and like shots and all that kind of crazy stuff. And I really don't like to do that stuff. So Bind saved my life. And then I don't want to stop taking activated charcoal now here, because one, I'm having to drink out of plastic water bottles, which I hate. It's not good for me, but I have to detox. I have to bind the toxins, get them out. And now I'm dealing with red tide. Who knows what's going on there? So I'm probably got lots of extra toxins in my body. All right. So how do we do this? Dr. Bagwell actually put together a clinic solution. And honestly, this is just stuff that like we all do in the clinic. So we just wanted to offer you some things that we do to maintain a detoxed lifestyle. And then if you need more specific help, then I want to give you the opportunity to have a mini consult with myself or Dr. Bagwell. So this is just like the daily detox protocol. Dr. Bagwell put in a package, so you get a meta-oxy test in this. The meta-oxy test looks at your cellular inflammation. It's really amazing. And this is coming back from travel. I remember it was the one time my meta-oxy read my cellular inflammation was high, and within, was it a week or 2 weeks of detoxing, it was back to normal. So I love that test. So he's including a liver glandular to support the liver, because the liver needs support when we're doing this, the meta-oxy test, and the bind. So that's one. And these are just kind of our daily recommendations that everyone can do. Quarterly would be the whole kit, which is the G-cell and the bind and the meta-oxy and the liver. And then if you are someone that you know that you have like specific toxicity symptoms, like your bucket is overflowing, or you have a disease state, which means your bucket is overflowing, or you're concerned, you have a parent with Alzheimer's or cancer or something, like, you know that you need to be intentional, or you know that you need like a gut or a parasite cleanse or something, then I recommend that you have a consult with Dr. Bagwell, so he can customize his recommendations for you, and then do like a very specific, like you can do like a brain health protocol or a gut protocol or something. So he'll help you with that. If you are someone that has weight to lose, then I'm going to offer you a consult with me, and then we can navigate your symptomatology, and we can customize a plan for you. My most popular plan is my 90-day plan. My patients lose 30 to 60 pounds in 90 days. I have a 6-week plan as well, which I have. In fact, I have like a couple of my patients right now. What I've done is on the 6-week plan, which is like a metabolic reset, and you can lose like 10 to 20 pounds on it as well. But we include a detox protocol with that. And in fact, I have like one person right now She's going to be starting soon, and she's doing that because she just wants to like detox her body and protect her brain from neurodegenerative diseases. Actually, I think I have 2 patients who are doing that protocol right now. I don't know exactly how he put on there 2 free sauna sessions. I don't know, maybe that's coming with maybe that comes with these two options here, but the infrared sauna is amazing, and that supports detoxification. And then if you would like to take advantage of, and you need a free consult with Dr. Bagwell or myself, typically we're doing a phone consult for that. And then if you are not a patient of the office and you need the clinic's number, that number is 704-947-2902. You can call the clinic to schedule that consult, or if you just want to order one of those supplement kits, or you want the detox kit or any supplement, you can call the clinic and they will help you with that. If you are outside of the Charlotte area, that's not a problem at all. We'll ship you those, and your consults we will do over phone, or when I do a more in-depth nutrition consult, I'll do that over Zoom as well. So I will welcome any questions, yeah. Hi, LaKayla. Hi, Michelle, Sylvia, Valerie. What a great group. Hope that was helpful. Yeah, I'll tell you, I just saw someone saying that their sinus infection cleared up without antibiotics. Who was that posted that? Was that? Yes, Jen. I was able to see my sinus infection clear up without the antibiotics. Yay! I told her this, but I literally, I've never taken antibiotics in my life outside of when I had knee surgery. They must have, I'm sure they gave me antibiotics when I was like 17 years old, but I've survived 44, never taken antibiotics in my life. Hopefully that was helpful, Jan. Got to get to all your questions over here. Let's see. See Bonnie, Michelle, hey, LaKayla, Tanya. Thanks, Anne. Okay, I guess I didn't have any questions. So yeah, great to see you all on. Look forward to connecting with you. You are most welcome. You're most welcome. You're most welcome, Nilsa. All right, yep, call the clinic if you need anything. And but otherwise, I'm trying to think if we have anything coming up. Next month, I'm going to be doing a metabolic webinar. So it's going to be very specific to healing your metabolism. And Dr. Bagwell has a dinner next week. So that's our dinner with the doc. Hey, Beth. Hey, Dana. So yeah, so dinner with the doc. If you have a guest that you want to take to that, those are always amazing, and just a great way to introduce to True Health. Feel free to call that number if you want to schedule an appointment or order a supplement. Feel free to call the number, even if it's tonight, just to leave a message and someone will call you back tomorrow. That's no problem at all. Or you can call in the morning, or you can reach out to me. So otherwise, I am going to sign off. I hope you all have an amazing evening, an amazing week, and I will see you soon.